see my screen?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we're going to get started here. My name is David Yoder. I am the contract specialist for HART, and I will be the contracting officer for the solicitation. With me today, I have two of our directors. Kathy, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Good afternoon, Kathy Zickafoose, Director of Procurement and Contracts.
Thank you, ma'am. And Dale?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dale Smith. I am the Director of Facilities.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'd like to welcome all our vendors. We have several with you with us today. Here we go. To go over the solicitation, which is for HART Landscaping Services, solicitation RFP 50565. The issue date you'll see as the 24th of January. In box 3 is the important contact information. You'll find my name, telephone number, and email address. The best way to get a hold of me is my email address. Any questions can be submitted either to that email address or directly to the Bonfire website. You'll see in box 5 today's pre-bid information, which you guys obviously already know because you're here. Right underneath that, you'll see our actual on-site visit information. That'll be held on the 16th of February next week for property locations 1 and 13. Property location 1, I will be present, more than likely with the project manager at that location, and we'll give you guys a guided tour of that facility because of it's one of our main locations. And property location number 13 will be open for you to tour at your leisure that day. The security gates will be unlocked and the guards will be alerted that you'll be on premises. But that's only for 13. Property location 1 will be a guided on-site visit. In box 6, you'll see the submission location, which is our Bonfire portal. If you have any questions about Bonfire, I am also conveniently the Bonfire point of contact for our organization also. So feel free to email me with any questions. If we can't figure it out together, I can always reach out to my contact in Bonfire. We can get any issues resolved. The offer submission date is a firm date on the 28th of February at 10 a.m. Keep in mind that there is no late submissions that will be accepted. So I always encourage everybody, the night before or the day before to go ahead and get in there, get all your documents uploaded, get it submitted. That way, if there's any issues, we can troubleshoot them. If you give me a call at 9:45 a.m. on the 28th of February, I may not have a whole lot of time to help you with a lot of stuff. And you may not always be the first person in line because I've had that happen too, where someone gives me a call at 9:35 and I'm helping that person. I'll wait till 10 o'clock and somebody else leaves me a message at 9:50. I unfortunately can only work with one person at a time. So it's important that you go ahead and upload those documents as soon as you have them ready to be submitted. Keep in mind when you do submit those documents, if for whatever reason, the next day you're thinking or the hour or whatever, as long as you're before 10 a.m. on the 28th, you can always withdraw your offer and resubmit a new document and resubmit the whole proposal prior to 10 a.m. on the 28th. Moving further down here, you'll see a firm offer period of 180 days in box 10. If you aren't on mute, please place yourself on mute. Going further down, you'll see in box 14 where you'll be able to acknowledge any amendments that may come from the solicitation. You can always acknowledge an amendment one of two ways, either by acknowledging it on the CSO1 you'll see here in box 14, or by signing that amendment and submitting it with your proposal. Please make sure boxes 15, 16, and 17 are filled out in their entirety in order to be considered responsive for this form. Moving down, you'll see the table of contents here. On the far right column, you'll see what you'll absolutely need to submit in order to be considered responsive. If you fail to submit these documents, you may be considered unresponsive and may not be considered for award. So I hate for you guys to put in all this work and miss a signature or something on a document and not be able to be considered. So again, if you have any questions about these documents, as always, reach out to me. Moving down, you'll see our HART schedule. Pricing table. It's pretty straightforward. I am not going to go over each and every detail inside these solicitation documents. It is your responsibility as the vendor to go ahead and read them in their entirety. I'm just going to go over certain sections which I feel are most prudent to go over. But again, if you have any questions about any other thing that I don't go over today, feel free to also reach out to me. Make sure this is filled out in its entirety and signed here. Returned. Moving down to Exhibit A, you'll see that at the very end of this document, there will be a signature block along with other information requested. So please make sure that the bottom of A is also filled out as well as the appropriate boxes above. Moving into Exhibit B. Exhibit B, because this is an RFP, will detail what your proposal, how your proposal will be evaluated. So it's important to read through each individual sections. I encourage you, when you are putting together your proposal, to make sure that you have everything organized in a similar fashion as it's set up in Exhibit B, meaning that you have a section, for instance, for Section 2 qualifications of the firm and or team. And then, of course, you address all of the necessary items, which you'll see listed here in that section. And the next section, obviously, being Section 3, work plan. And then, of course, address these 3 points in there. That makes it easier for our evaluation team to be able to evaluate your proposal rather than just having one big proposal. They're going to have to find each of these points in different points of the proposal. So moving further down, you'll see prices worth 400 points and the remaining evaluation is worth 600.
I'm video recording this whole thing.
Scrolling down to Exhibit C. You'll see in box 6 what we talked about earlier about acknowledging the amendments. You will need to acknowledge any amendments that are attached to the solicitation, and failure to do so may result in you being considered non-responsive and not being considered for award. So please make sure you acknowledge your amendments. Going further down here. In Section 19, you'll see protest procedures. If for whatever reason you feel that I am not addressing a certain concern, or if you have any questions you feel that I'm the answer, you can always reach out to Kathy Zugafush. She's the Director of Procurement on this call today, and she'll be more than happy also to help you with any issues. I am your primary point of contact for the solicitation. Going down to Exhibit D. You'll see this is a 2-year base with one additional year option. You'll see that in box or sections 4 and 5. Moving down to box 7, should you be awarded the contract, it's extremely important that you read this section here. Let you know that there's 2 different ways for you guys to submit invoices. Well, the first one obviously is through ap@gohart.org. It is the preferred method, just because it's quicker turnaround for you guys, get you guys paid again. But we also have the snail mail option if you guys are still old school. And you can see that address listed here. Moving down to Section 8 is the insurance requirements. There are a lot of insurance requirements here, and it is important that you read through them thoroughly and make sure that you're able to comply with those because, again, it is a condition for award. Going further down. And of course, in Section 10 here, you'll see we reserve the right to add and delete locations as our needs may change.
Hold on, he just going over everything.
Moving down to Exhibit F. And of course, in these sections here, compliance with the law. You obviously are required to comply with all applicable federal, state, and local laws. And the contractor shall use only licensed personnel to perform work required by law to perform by such personnel. Box 22, at any point in time during our relationship together, or our the solicitation process or anything exceeding it, please do not send anything. I know a lot of people know that you're not supposed to send Buccaneers tickets or Lightning tickets or anything crazy like that. But I also can't accept any pens, paper with your letterhead on it. I can't accept like T-shirts or anything like that either. So please don't send us any promotional items at all. We have to send it back to you, and it's kind of a hassle. So please don't send us anything definitely would appreciate that. In box 23, we can't do any business with anybody that's been disbarred or suspended. Further down here. Going into Exhibit G. This is one of the documents that a lot of people do miss. So make sure that you fill out this attachment 1 in its entirety. Make sure that you fill out this bottom section here and return it with your proposal. This is the Exhibit H, which is the scope of work. I'm going to turn it over to the Director of Facilities, Dale. Dale, whenever you're ready, just let me know when to go ahead and scroll.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So the landscaping services are spelled out. Some of our properties get full service. Some of our properties are just mowing or trash collection. So we've identified each location. We've sent you some overhead views showing our property lines, kind of the areas that we are looking to have mowed. We're going to do a site visit on the 16th at 9 a.m. here at this facility. We'll start here. And a lot of the locations are going to be where you could just drive by and look at them at your leisure. The couple of locations will open up Casey Road that day. On the 16th, it'll be open all day for you to go by there and just drive through and take a look at it.
It's good. I already did it.
Perfect. So the descriptions are in Section 8. It will talk about what we're looking to get at each of the locations. Any additional services that we ask for, we'll schedule with you. That would be mulching, tree trimming. We do like to get our trees trimmed prior to hurricane season, so we have less risk of tree limbs falling. And so other than that, it's if you have any questions, it's a pretty basic procurement here for landscaping services throughout our locations.
Thank you, Dale. As you guys can see, here's the overall overhead views of those locations. Okay. And moving into this final document here, this document is for proprietary or confidential information or trade secret material. It's not a required return, but if you want to have a certain portion of your proposal deemed confidential, proprietary, or trade secret material, you will need to fill out and return this form. Keep in mind, we also have, give me 1 second, attached to that solicitation should also be our one moment. Guys, there'll also be a contract cover page sample, which you'll be able to find on Bonfire. If it's not already there, I'll make sure it is there by the end of the day. If you are afforded or awarded this contract, you will be required to go ahead and sign our contract cover page. And it's just the basic information about the solicitation. So we usually provide it to you guys in advance during the solicitation process. That way, in case you do need to take it to your legal team and have them review it or question it. I know some people, their legal team has a quick turnaround, 2 or 3 days. Some other people, it's 2 or 3 weeks. So we'd like to be able to provide you with this so you guys can go ahead and confer with your legal team prior. Just because once we do go to the board and get approval and those types of things, we kind of like to move from award to sign contract and the kickoff meeting within about a week of, if possible, after the board has approved us to move forward. And unfortunately, this contract cover page sometimes with people's legal teams having to review it make it take longer. So with that said, that concludes the documents I have to review. I'm going to open up the floor for any questions. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to speak up now. I see a hand over there. Go ahead.
Yes, do you have an anticipated start date at this point?
We do. Give me 1 second. The current contract we have, it looks like, is going to go through till 7/17. So we anticipate the start, I believe, on the 18th of July.
And at that point, would trees be already ready for hurricane season, or are we expected to get trees up to par if it's needed?
Dale, I'm gonna let you field that question. I'm not sure when you guys usually authorize the tree trimming.
Yeah, we do it twice a year, May and November. So by that point, we'll have already had the May service done, but we'll have it again in November. We do it at the end of the year as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any other questions?
Yeah. How many properties are there total?
13, I believe. Is that correct, Dale?
Yes, 13.
And do y'all have a prior bid tabulation for this contract?
We do. Feel free to email me, and I'll be more than happy to send you the last time we did the solicitation and its outcome.
Okay. Is mulching included? Or that's a separate service?
It's a separate service.
Okay.
All right. Is there any other questions?
No, I think I'm good.
I'd like to ask a question. You mentioned that the site visit is for site number 1, correct? On that list for the, forgive me, I think it was the 19th or whatever, I put it on my calendar, but, and then you said there was another site that was open all day for visit. Are there any other sites that we'll be able to visit to take a look at?
Dale, correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the other locations are already open to the public for you to visit at any point in time. It's just location 1 is our main maintenance facility, so it is gated and controlled. And then lot 13, I believe, is an empty lot, which we have gated in, or fenced in rather. So we have to give you guys access, but all the other locations should be accessible to the public, correct, Dale?
That's correct. Anytime you want to go out when you're in the area, you can stop and visit the other locations.
Yeah.
But the 2 sites, the 16th, we'll have Casey Road open for you, and then we'll meet here at 9 a.m. and kind of go over the 21st Avenue location. It's probably our most complex site. I think the other sites are self-explanatory, but and then obviously if you have any questions, submit them in writing, and we'll get them answered as quickly as possible.
Great. And lastly, I briefly went through these documents before the meeting. Everything that you need submitted is on that page that I can find and download and submit to you.
On the Bonfire website, yes, you'll find all the documents for the solicitation. And again, if you have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me. And if you have any questions about what is absolutely required to be returned, you'll find that on page 2 of the CSO1. In that little section to the far right, it'll tell you yes, no, on what's required to be considered responsive.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, is there anybody else? Kathy, do you have any closing remarks?
The only thing that I wanted to add too, because like David said, that once the submission due date and time closes, there's no ability for you to upload anything else. So it is important to get your submissions in as early as you can so that you don't run up against that deadline. The one thing, in addition to reaching out to David, which he can be a great resource, there's also a button at the bottom left-hand corner in Bonfire with a question mark on it. It's a blue circle, and you can click on that and get support that way. You can also email support at gobonfire.com, and they're usually pretty quick to respond. But again, the importance is to plan early.
Thank you, ma'am. Dale, do you have any closing remarks?
Just looking forward to
Hold on.
getting everybody out and taking a look at the properties, and good luck to everyone. And we'll visit with you on the 16th.
I really need to ask them about
Oh,
this.
we got one more question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Ted.
I'm liking to know, like on the submission, y'all have section 2, 3, 5, 6 proposal. Now, is that something that we need to? Are we uploading proposal for each one of those lines that we put together, or? Because this
Yes,
is requesting.
There'll be different sections that we will be evaluating. Those sections are outlined in Exhibit B. And as you read through Exhibit B, you'll see what each section covers. And just go ahead and make sure that you cover whatever is required for that section. You submit it to the appropriate inbox in Bonfire.
Oh, okay.
Can you let us know again what time on the 16th for the inspection on number 1?
Yep, give me one moment to confirm that date.
It was 9 a.m.
It was 9 a.m.
Great, thank you so much.
That's correct. All right. Well, that does conclude our pre-proposal meeting for Park Landscaping Services, RFP 50565. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in box 3 of the solicitation. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, David, Dale, and Kathy. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
weekend.
you.
All
Great
right.
job, David.
Thank you. All right. So that was a bid meeting, a full-fledged bid meeting.